Hey friends! What up, Sam the Dingus Aroni coming back at you for another tutorial. Today I'm actually going back to my roots and doing some parkour. I'm going to teach you how to do the Kong vault. Kong vault is one of the most signature moves in parkour, and as far as efficiency goes for parkour, it's one of the best. So learning this, you'll be able to easily, quickly clear over any obstacle right in front of you, regardless of the type. Handrail, longer obstacles, tables. In fact, that's the specialty of the Kong, I'd say, is that you can cross greater distances with this. Additionally, you can Kong pre. Many things come out of learning the Kong vault, but you should start with just that. So I'll show you how to do it, the technique itself, and then how to break the fear, because this one can be a bit scary at first. Let's go. So you're going to want to find a nice ripe obstacle. A picnic table would work if you have nothing else, however, it's not ideal. What I learned my Kong vaults, all my vaults on at first, was about waist height, probably about this wide. Perfect obstacle for learning. It's made of rock, so it's solid, you know it's not going to move. Don't recommend you learn this on a handrail. You could die. There's a few body positionings in the Kong vault to look out for, and just a few points for technique, but it's not incredibly difficult. You're going to want an obstacle that, again, has good space, that you know you're not going to miss with your hands, and a decent space to run up and also fall down on the other side, just in case. The reason I think a picnic table isn't great for learning this is because of these boys here. The chairs can definitely trip you out. First thing, run up and take off. You don't need a lot of momentum for this. You probably don't want a lot of momentum for this. Just get 3, 4, 7 steps at most, I'd say. Get a nice little gallop going. And then as you approach the obstacle, you're going to do it as a split step takeoff, like a Webster or a round off or something like this. So it's a, not a. You're going to want to take off a few feet before the obstacle. That way you have ample space to fly into the obstacle. I would take off about this distance. Now for the technique of the move itself, what you're going to do is, once you get that gathered, you want your hands ready, you're going to jump up. You're not going to kick up super hard, but you are going to push off with both to get you forward and up in a diagonal. Then you're going to reach out, place both of your hands down, and the signature of the Kong, let your feet and knees pass through the middle of the gap that your hands and arms have made. So I'll finish going over the technique first, and then I'll get into how to not be terribly afraid of this move, which is potentially dangerous, but it's mostly mental. So now you're here, you've taken off, you're off the ground. Here's what you do. From here, there's not too much left to it, but once you're in the air, pretend I'm floating. Pretend every time I'm standing on this thing, pretend it's a float. We're at this position. What you want to do is, from here, get your hips up a little bit. You don't want to do a low Kong vault because you're scared, you know? Because then you might clip your feet on the sides here. You don't want to go, get your hips up. You do this, number one, to make sure that you have height to get your feet and hips without touching the table at all. Number two, because it looks kind of cool and it feels awesome to be upside down. So once you've done that, floating, your hips are up. From this point, you just want to tuck your legs in, up towards your knees. Be watchful for the obstacle. But if you're upright and your hips are high, you shouldn't touch it, especially if you're terrified to touch it. You'll do everything in your power not to, so don't worry about that. You'll fly through, and then all you're going to do is make sure your shoulders stay rigid. You don't want to bend your arms during the Kong. You're in, down, keep it strong, hips up, and then you simply pass through. You can go over the side a little bit at first, but for a true Kong vault, you want to pass right through the middle of your hands. And then once you get to about this position, your hips will be up and I won't be touching the table. Then you kind of just roll off your fingers, push the table behind you, and finish away safely on the other side. A quick technique wrap up for you. Get some steps. Gather. That's a split leg takeoff. Jump. Forward. Arms rigid. Hips up. Tuck in your legs. Throw the obstacle behind you. fly, land. Boom, that's it. That's really all there is for the technique. But it is actually a little bit harder than it looks if you're just starting out, and if you don't have experience with movement with your body, this can be a little bit scary. But I was able to learn it within a day or two of my parkour journey, so I think you could as well. So, how to do it when you're scared. First off, have a better obstacle than this. Try to. If you don't, there's always a way. There's a will, there's a way. There's a mind, there's a word, and if there's a word, it should be said. When you're scared, there's a lot of progression to this move, and that's why it's so great. What you should start doing is just putting your hands on the obstacle, letting your hips fly up without any movement. You're going to see my butt. That'll help get you the confidence to know that you actually can go into that slightly inverted position without death. Now, this is a case where a larger obstacle will actually help you with the progression. However, this does work on smaller obstacles, not a handrail. Don't learn this on a handrail, stupid. Then, you're simply going to just walk through the Kong. Remember all the pre-steps? That's step, step, gather, jump, put your hands down, and land on the table. Imagine that you're just trying to get on top of the table, not go over it. Simple. Once you can get on the table, then all you're going to try to do is just see if you can get a little bit past your hands with your feet whenever you land on the table. You can do the same with a smaller obstacle, but don't push it too hard if you aren't ready to full send it. Just try to go a little bit past where you put your hands. Following that progression, just try to go farther and farther past your hands. I think you'll be able to do it. However, you can also cheat if it's an unfamiliar obstacle or you're still scared despite all that by going over the side. I don't know if I've made a side vault tutorial yet, but it could help here. So to go over the side on the Kong, it's as it sounds. All the same steps, hands down, but your hands, they can go a little bit to either side. Just for starts though. Gradually, you want to work that inward until you can confidently say, I'm doing a real Kong vault, passing through my hands, efficiently and quickly. The Kong vault. It is simply amazing. Additionally, I should have put this at the beginning, but a good prerequisite for this is a dive roll. Just in case you fuck up and you're flying head first, at least then you can roll out of it or maybe even land on your back without fear. The reason the Kong is so good is not just because the Kong itself is great, but everything that comes after it is even better. Talking Kong precisions. That's when you do a Kong, you slap off the obstacle and you fly forward, land your feet on another obstacle by way of precision jump. Super popular, super awesome, great. Additionally, an extended Kong is called a dive Kong. So this is where you kind of need a table, because then once you get good enough, you can try dive Kong over the long side of the table, and that shit is sick. And just when you thought I was done, for me the final step in the Kong progression is the ultimate pinnacle of awesome parkour moves that everybody who ever wants to do parkour should get to this point so that they are undeniably awesome by all their friends. What would happen if you combined a regular Kong vault on the long side of a table with a dive Kong on the long side of a table? How could you even combine those? The answer? Double Kong, double Kong, double Kong, double Kong, double Kong, double Kong. Trust me, that is the best way to make friends. Alright amigos, that's another successful tutorial. I will get this edited as fast as I can and plop it in your subscriptions box. Peace and rock out, my dudes.